90 days in jail and 36 months probation. They charged me with criminal mistreatment in the first degree. I got 3 years probation. I went to 7 months treatment inpatient. I started attending in November 2003 for marijuana abuse. Attended counseling, parenting classes, Matrix A&D early education course, Matrix relapse prevention course, domestic violence course, cognitive restructuring course, breaking barriers course, anger management course, plus many more. After release, I did outpatient treatment, AA, 6 weeks, individual therapy, parenting classes in-home, lived in transitional housing under strict rules and regulations. UAs have continued. Visitors had to be approved, and definitely no men. Had my daughter returned before leaving treatment, was doing very good and was working, buying a car, moving into a home with my daughter Kristen. They were getting ready to close my case March 6, 2005. I was still having clean UAs, working vehicle, working to self-support, was doing very well on, or so I thought. The 1st of February, the 4th or 5th, the CPS took Kristen again. I had been over visiting friends that I considered family. I grew up with these people all my life and wouldn't have left her there if I didn't feel it was a safe place to be for Kristen. Kristen wanted to stay the night with these people, thinking of them as family too. I took her home, bathed her, got her ready for bed, and took her back over there to spend the night and attend a birthday party the next day. She woke up and told my friend's sister she was hungry, then laid back down, stating she didn't feel well and was becoming pale. She couldn't stay awake. They phoned her grandma, which is my mother, who came and took her to the hospital. I was phoned at work and rushed to the hospital because of the condition of my daughter and not knowing what was wrong. Her not waking up and being pale and unresponsive. They started running tests. They came up with hypothermia as a diagnosis. But how did she get it? Well, they suggested I had put her in a tub of cold water, or maybe she got it from being driven back over to my friend's home, an area of 10 blocks from where I was residing. They had no idea what had happened. The people that were caring for her had no idea. The house she had been in was warm, and the kids had slept with blankets. No reason to become hypothermic that anybody could see. And my family not having heard of hypothermia from any other source than cold. My stepmother researched and found it could be caused by a systemic disease such as diabetes or others. The reports were sent to a CARES unit. When it came back, it was 6 months later, still without a specific diagnosis, but mind you, this could happen again in anybody's care. During this time, their CPS and CSD are having me evaluated by psychiatrists and neuropsychiatrists, trying to find out if I'm mentally unstable. These reports took compile and return. Months to compile and return. So needless to say, we still have no diagnosis for my daughter. It took months to report in. The meantime, I'm not allowed to have a life. People I have around aren't who I should be with. Why? They won't tell me because of privacy laws. They are still UAing me. They won't give me my daughter back. I can't have people in my life, and the ones that come around, CPS and CSD wants them to log in and log out and the place of visiting. Finding out that the state filed for guardianship and I was pregnant again because of a not so smart move, CPS and CSD called in the state's Assistant Attorney General requesting guardianship. This is a step towards adoption. Now, mind you, I have decided to move to another town, about 120 miles away, to start a new life. I did this with a guy friend of mine. CPS and CSD did not approve of him. Later, I find out that they had pulled his juvenile record and held it against him. And meanwhile, he is 28 years old. I was traveling to see Kristen, attending as best as I could what the state had asked me to do. I was going to doctor's appointments to take care of the new baby that was coming. As of February 25th, 2007, I had spent the day, which was my 5-year-old's birthday, and overnight as it was the middle of winter and I was 9 months pregnant. I went into labor the following day, February 26, 2007. I went to another town to have my child. I certainly didn't want treatment from the hospital that couldn't diagnose my other daughter's hypothermia. I had my child, was doing well, and the authorities stepped in and told them to have a nurse sit with me while I had court to see if there was any reason for CPS or CSD to step in. The court there, they saw no reason. Baby was healthy. Mom was doing very well too as a mother, according to my nurse and physicians. The day of court, it was done from my hospital room and by phone. The judge saw no reason to take over and dismissed it. Somehow the county I had actually moved to had gotten a report from the county I had previously lived in, and so they stepped in and ordered a pickup order on my newborn daughter, 4 days old, with nothing but another county that was not treating me right in the first place. So I decided to have her placed with her father with the promise of I can see her whenever. Tried to set up visitation, calling caseworker, telling me I have to figure it out with the father, who now thinks he's super dad. Now, mind you, he questioned the parentage and didn't want anything to do with the baby until I gave him the opportunity to help me out, with the promise of being able to parent my child. Then he started screwing around with me and making it all my responsibility to see my child. He was and continually makes it difficult for me to see my 2-month-old daughter. I'm not being allowed to parent for a second time in my life. The CPS and CSD that are currently has jurisdiction has told him to file for full custody and they will drop out. They apparently think that I will just fold and give up. Let whoever take and knows my children. Now let me state that I'm still fighting for my children. I have a pending trial regarding the guardianship of my daughter Kristen. I'm going to fight for my newborn. Throughout all of this, I have continued to do as they have requested. Clean UAs for going on 3 years, taken their courses, did treatment. They still won't work with me. They take false accusations, statements, as if it is solid, without checking it out for themselves. They have never interviewed any members of my family or friends that know what kind of parent I am capable of being. If they would leave me alone, they, CPS, CSD, has not been fair or borderline legal on some of their actions, statements, and lies they tell in court. They tell my stepmom the reason that they won't return Kristen is because of my choices of friends. How unreasonable. But still I fight. News shows aren't interested because they can't get a statement from the state agency of CPS CSD. My stepmother and myself have spoke to everyone from the local office to the governor's office. Nobody will listen to my side of the story. My parents are still planting seeds and helping with any type of support they can do, and my little sister has been a huge blessing, allowing me to use her car and couch surf at her place since I currently don't have a home. I believe that the Lord will continue to help me through giving me comfort and support. I have cut everybody I know off except for one friend and my family. I don't have a life with the fear that CPS CSD will not approve. I believe I have a case against the state, but can't seem to find an attorney that will take this case on, or a pro bono or contingency basis, or even with the damage they have caused myself and my family. I might even be able to file a class action. Nobody will talk with me, as we are not very well off. Well, please remember myself and my children in your prayers. Remember, we are in the times where our government doesn't always play fair. God bless you for listening to my story. Remember, God loves you and will bless you accordingly.